Last big picture thing I wanted to ask you, and then I've got a couple fun ones for you. And this could probably be a podcast unto itself, so we don't have to get all into the weeds right now. But I'm curious of the idea, and you hear it this year, and you hear it pretty much every year. It seems like where look, I mean, Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels, Drake May, JJ McCarthy. It seems as strong a quarterback class as you could ask for. But I'm always interested in the idea of, well, teams might act differently. Teams might be more aggressive because they don't like next year's class. I mean, it's something, it seems like you hear it every spring. But at the same time, who was talking about Jayden Daniels at this time last year? I mean, I'll just stick to the LSU homerism. Who saw Joe Burrow as that guy at this time the year before he was drafted? So I'm curious what you think about that, about the idea of teams putting so much stock in this year's class when we truly have no idea what we're going to think of next year's class until it gets here.
Yeah, and I think those are the two examples, right? The two LSU quarterbacks.
Right.
This time last year, we were talking about Jayden Daniels as what, a third, fourth round pick. I mean, we were encouraged by what we saw on the 2022 tape, but I don't think anybody saw him going or doing what he did, becoming a Heisman Trophy winner, and then separating himself as a legitimate top 10 player in this draft. Even the biggest LSU homers, I didn't mention your name, don't worry. Even those guys, I don't think we saw this coming, right?
Did not. No, I thought he was a good player. I did not think he would go top 5 in the draft. No.
But it's still important for teams to forward scout. You know, you always look towards next year, and especially at the quarterback position, especially for the teams that need a quarterback. You look at it and say, okay, what is next year's quarterback class? What do we got coming down the chute? And next year's quarterback class, honestly, right now doesn't look very exciting. There's not one quarterback that you can point to and say, oh, definite number 1 overall pick type of guy that we would be excited about. I mean, a lot of talented guys, but in terms of being legitimate top 5 quarterbacks, the feedback I get from teams and just from my own scouting, that the little bit I've done towards next year, it's not a lot of guys to get excited about. And that's why I think it's going to help for a lot of these quarterbacks this year are going to go pretty early. How many we see in the first round? I would guess 5. I think obviously the 4 are going to go early. I think 1 more maybe gets in there. Then we're going to see probably 3 go on day 2, and then another 5, 6 on day 3. So we're going to see a lot of quarterbacks drafted. And part of that, at least part of it, is because teams are looking towards next year. And I think you look at a team like the Vikings, they could easily just do a stopgap year and load up on draft picks, wait for next year, get their quarterback. But I think they look at next year's class and say, okay, we're going to be aggressive this year. This is the class where we want to go get our quarterback. And I think a lot of teams are looking at that way. And teams like the Broncos, the Raiders, they're picking 12, 13. They're kind of in no man's land. I think that their prime landing spots, probably not at 12 or 13, but trade back situations or trade up from the second round to go get a Bo Nix, or go get a Michael Penix. A lot of teams are going to want to get their quarterback this year just because they're not confident about what's coming down next year. And so, but like you said, to your original point, it's guys will hopefully surprise us. Take big jumps in what they do next year, because obviously what they put on film in 2024 is going to matter way more than anything they have done up to this point. So hopefully we get a few surprises next year.
I'm sure somebody will surprise us, but I could talk about this all day. I just love the idea that NFL evaluators, NFL GMs have looked at guys who are still in college with the idea of like, do we need to do something aggressive to make sure we get somebody this year? Yes, we probably do. The amount of effort that goes into this is incredible. All right.
Well, and now they have to talk to Dion, right? And they have to get.
That is yes.
Is our team on your list to find out if we can even draft Shedeur Sanders next year? I mean, so that's just another extra part of this now.
I'm going to step out on a limb and say Shedeur's draft cycle will be a very, very interesting one. I think that I'm not worried about that prediction.
I'm not looking forward to it.
We'll see. Yeah. Hey, Dave, one draft at a time, man. One draft at a time.
I know.
I mean,
thank you.
I can't even wait to see where it goes with Colorado's season. In addition to the draft cycle, it's going to be a memorable one.